if you find yourself in a relationship where you no longer give a shit about your platonic or familial relationships, you are a problem. You should not be in a relationship.
Right.
If you cannot function solo outside of a relationship, you should not be in a relationship.
I agree.
Because you are asking someone else to carry the burden of being two people.
Yeah. If you can't handle yourself, why would you expect someone else to?
It's not about finding your other half. It's about two wholes coming together.
Right. I agree. Especially in a marriage bond. Like, if you're committing to that level, I just think sometimes people put way too much on other people. And
They expect too much out of them.
Yeah.
I feel like media and life put a pressure on people to hit their end games too early.
People put a hierarchy to, like, the stepping stones in relationships and what is considered more important than others. Like some things treat sex as a be-all, end-all. It's not. Some people think marriage is the end game. It's not. It's a new beginning.
Right.
You're starting another chapter of your life. Like, things don't end after you get married.
Right.
No, you have
the entire
so
rest
much
of
more
your lives to
responsibility at
live.
that point.
Yeah. And especially going off of what you said, people, what I've noticed with social media in our town and probably everywhere, I'm assuming, is that there's this underlying timeline that no one said.
Yeah.
You don't have to be married or graduated or quote-unquote successful at a certain age, because success, much like depression and anxiety, is linear. Like, you can't hope to be happy if you're comparing yourself to someone else's success, which isn't even really their success. They've just painted a really pretty picture for you to look at. And they're still miserable.
It's the presentation.
It's the presentation, but also you can't be in a healthy relationship if you are constantly comparing your relationship to someone else's.
Right.
No two relationships are the same. Even your past relationships, which you were a party in, will not line up to be the exact same. And if they do, there's a common denominator, and bitch at you.
Yep. And it's you, and maybe you should evaluate that. So, like, building your relationship up with the blueprints of somebody else's relationship, you're setting yourself up for failure.
Literally the definition of insanity, in my opinion.
Like, you can't keep setting yourself to someone else's standards. Like, there are so many variables to a person, you cannot sit there and compare yourself.
Or them to someone else.
Invasion of privacy. If you suddenly get this, you're looking for red flags, someone has pointed something out to you, regardless, you feel the need to invade someone else's privacy, that is a problem within yourself. Do not go through someone's phone. If you go through someone's phone and find out they were cheating on you, you're going to feel vindicated and validated in your mission to go violate someone's sense of privacy, someone's personal space. And you shouldn't. You shouldn't feel good about knowing you were right when you were still in the wrong for doing something like that.
I agree. It's taking me a second to say that I agree, because I thought for a couple of seconds, because sometimes I wonder, how would they find out otherwise? I mean, it is wrong. You shouldn't invade privacy.
But there's a basic level of trust that you have to have in a romantic relationship. If you feel like your partner's cheating on you, you should have a conversation about that. You should say, hey, these are all the things I'm seeing, and they are lining up to this conclusion. Could you,
be honest
get
with
back
me.
to me? Be honest with me. Get back to me on this. Like, is this happening?
Right.
Be honest.
My fear with that, though, is that if you're
They
already
lie anyway.
Right, if you're already in a toxic relationship, who says that they wouldn't be narcissistic about it? But,
Okay.
I mean, there's so many red flags in
If
that.
you still find yourself unable to trust them after you've suspected they are doing something like cheating or like drugs or like hiding things from you, get out of the relationship. Because if you can't trust them now to be honest with you, how long is it going to take them to be honest with you, and are they ever going to?
Right. If you don't have any trust, and it goes both ways, like if you don't have that foundation that has great communication, great trust, like the foundation is everything. You can't build upon that if that's not solid.
There's a reason why houses with foundations are the ones that weather storms the best.
Yeah, because relationships have storms. Many.
Set up what the boundaries and parameters for your relationship are early on.
Very specific. Be very specific.
If you think you cannot possibly be more specific, try.
Right?
Also, potentially find different ways to phrase the very specific thing.
Yeah.
One way might not click. Another way might.
Don't leave room for gray areas. Don't leave room for questions. Have the conversation. While it could be uncomfortable in the beginning stages, it could save you a lot of grief.
I feel like I need to make a relationship, like, contract set up.
You do.
Like people do for
Application.
BDSM. Like, they have, like, the contract that details out their boundaries and what they are comfortable and are not comfortable with. If it makes you severely uncomfortable, do not do it. Human instincts are animal instincts are one of the most powerful forces on the planet.
And humans
Trust.
are animals, baby!
Pack animals at that. Trust your instincts.
Right, if you could feel it churning in your guts, you have riveting anxiety. Chances are you're uncomfortable.
If all of your friends sit you down to tell you that you shouldn't move forward with a relationship that you're going to be moving forward with, perhaps you should consider what your friends are saying and not just never talk to them again.
Golly gee, perhaps.
Well, golly gee, I'll be darned.
If you have individual conversations with your closest friends and they say, look, I think you're moving really fast. I think you don't know this person well enough. I think these are some serious red flags that you are overlooking because you are in the honeymoon phase and trying to find the green flags. You should stop and ruminate on that for a second. Don't let your friends dictate your relationship. However, do take their opinions into consideration because they are your friends for a reason.
Right.
They have insights to you and how you function as a person from the outside.
If they tell you to give the relationship time to cook before serving,
Cook it!
Cook!
Right. I agree.
It's either going to come out raw or burnt if you don't.
I agree. You have to follow the instructions carefully. But on another note, everything is rose-colored at first. I just think people go into things with such a fantasy mindset. And
Because of media presentation. Yes.
Right. And I love reading a good book too. But when you're going into a relationship, again, just reiterating, you have to be open, honest, communicative, and set very clear boundaries.
If you're going to go for someone, it better be because you like them and not just because you saw someone else wanted them.
Oh God, that's a whole nother audio recording.
Also consider, if the person in your romantic relationship is trying to convince you all of your friends and family are against you, that is toxic and manipulative and you should get them out of your life.
Yeah. Do it sooner rather than later. Like, if they make you uncomfortable once and you talk to them about it and then they continue to do the thing, that is your sign right there that they are never going to respect your boundaries and get out. Get the fuck out. Don't go, oh, it's because we're new and he'll learn and I can fix him. No, the fuck you can't. Get out.
Yep. We're trying to save you guys a lot of trouble here.
Absolutely do not say I love you too soon.
Oh, especially if you don't mean it.
Don't say I love you if you don't mean it.
And going off of that, if someone does say it and you're not ready to say it back,
they better respect you when you say you're not ready to say it back. They'd be like, so if they're like, I love you, and you're like, cool. If they make a whole big fuss about you not loving them back, bitch, you're only a couple weeks into this relationship. That's not enough time for love to form.
Yeah, we are a few hours old, my dude. Yeah, if you have to take who they actually are, the situation they actually created, and you have to feather it up and put flowers around it and make it look and seem much more than it is with every single situation to your friends, obviously you're lying to yourself too.
It's not good.
Right, and if you're that friend with that partner, and I tell you that your vision is clouded, I just think you should listen to me. That's all I'm saying.
Like that.
Say it, please. You'll forget.
Say it, you'll forget.
The idea that you're getting into a relationship, you're moving super quickly. If you went from strangers to married in 6 months, it's not enough time to get to know someone.
No.
I'm just thinking of the Mary Higgins Clark book now, where the guy and the girl ended up married at the end of the month, and he turned out to be a murderer. And he only married her because she looked like his dead mom. Who abandoned him.
Are you okay?
I've read a lot of Mary Higgins Clark's book, but he married this lady because he had mommy issues. His mom tried to abandon him, and when he was a teenager, he killed her to keep her from leaving the town. The Bodum village.
The Norman Bates bullshit?
And he's some artist and he's always drawing this shit. The person he always draws in his art was his mom. But this lady was at the place and she looked somewhat similar and he's immediately like, I want to court you. What?
Where is this?
There's more trauma there though.
I don't remember the name of the book.
I'll find it later. You'll get it for Christmas.
Listen, that's not even my favorite one. I have my favorite one. I'm pretty sure it's Nighttime's my time. But I read a lot of American Clark's books in
going to
middle
say,
school and high school.
Getting into a relationship and getting into a point where you have to move in together is a big step.
Huge.
Especially if you went from strangers to married. Because you don't know the little things that this person does that bothers you.
Right.
And in that first part of your relationship, you're trying to give the best version of yourself. You're trying to do things to get yourself to seem more appealing or to get them to like you. And instead of just being authentic and be like, yeah, I let dishes pile up for 2 months, I'm sorry. You're going through and you're cleaning all their shit or all your shit before they come over. And then you go to living together and suddenly they see you are way more slovenly than they thought, and like, you don't take the trash out, you don't wash your dishes immediately. Like, what if the way they brush their teeth doesn't align with the way that you think you should? That's such a weird thing that you wouldn't have thought about before you moved in together.
90 Day Fiancé.